Just dropped my microphone here on KWJUDAS Free Radio Provo. We have longtime esteemed colleague Boris Forklift Lukowski here. That was him. And Jim. What was your last name, sir?
Scott.
Jim Scott?
Scott.
Oh, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Scott.
Yeah.
Word. I was going to say like this.
Scott.
Scott would be a cool last name.
James Scott.
Just Scott.
Scott.
Anyways, Scott is still a cool last name. Jim Scott.
Yeah.
And Boris Forklift Lukowski.
Boris Forklift Lukowski.
Boris has been...
Boris Pitchfork.
Forklift.
Polish bastard.
It's forklift.
He's probably the most Polish
it.
guy I know, actually. You know, he needs no introduction besides that.
Damn. Am I supposed to be speaking?
No, I just kind of wanted to see what you would say. Anyways, Boris, actually, the reason why he's such an esteemed colleague is because he's been playing acoustic classical guitar for how many years?
7.
And you've been opening for a lot of our shows, not just bands that I've played in, but shows that I've booked at numerous different locations, anywhere from like city limits to just out in the mountains. And
right.
We've dragged your ass clear out to Colorado even to go play in the middle of nowhere. Absolute butt-fuck nowhere. Egner, Colorado.
Where he just laid his sleeping bag on the ground.
Yeah, he didn't even have any camping gear hardly.
No tent.
It was a tarp.
It was a fun time.
A wannabe tarp.
And so, yeah, we thought we were going to go out there. It was like the year that things got legalized, and we thought we were going to go out there. And, yeah, we're going to Colorado, bitches. And we get there, and it's just still the same sagebrush.
Sagebrush.
From one horizon to the other that we are so totally used to in Utah. Everywhere. It was awesome.
Yeah,
That's pretty
totally.
awesome. But hey,
Awesome.
you know, your first rip of that water pipe, you actually got to declare official freedom. Right when you got across that border, you felt like a true American.
True American.
True American. Yeah.
Not a Polak.
Yeah. And that was Boris's first time feeling like a true American.
True American.
American.
America, yeah.
So, how I met Boris personally, just for all you guys out there listening, is from an ancient band from the first venue I used to book back from 2004 to 2006. It was called Steamers and Ironic Ashes. It was actually the second manifestation of a coffee shop called Steamers that was originally on Provo Center Street, and they opened a second one, Freedom Boulevard, right across the street from the liquor store, and it was conjoined with a smoke shop. And I booked a lot of bands there, and his band, Yesterday's Dream, was one of those bands that frequented the place. And I can even remember the first time Nick Passy, actually, from Die Panda Die, currently his band. Of course, you remember Nick, and you remember Die Panda Die.
Oh, yeah.
They asked if they could just book a show with a bunch of their friends' bands, and they had, I believe, like Chase Clough's band, Spera, and they had Pennies for Beggars. If you remember them.
Yeah.
Can't forget Pennies for Beggars.
Can't.
Yeah, it's like everyone in that band, you know, just a hoot and a holler, a hoot and a holla. And then it was Yesterday's Dream.
Yeah.
And Yesterday's Dream was the only band that I hadn't heard yet. And I didn't really know who you guys were. And I can actually remember calling Nick and being like, hey, who the hell's this fourth band you got on this flyer you gave me? And he's like, oh, yeah, it's some other friends of ours. He gave me your number and the name Boris. And he's like, yeah, you should definitely talk to this guy. He's kind of, I don't know exact words, but he did definitely introduce you as being kind of a crazy Polish bastard.
Good old Nick Pass.
Not exactly in those words, no. And also being one of the most accident-prone people he's ever met.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he told me, he warned me about that at the show, the night the show was actually happening. But that, I think, might have been the first show we actually had with Pennies for Beggars as well. I already had talked to them, so I knew who they were. I kind of had talked to Benini and Hosey. But yeah, I never knew who you guys were. And just that show alone, I can still remember. Just showing up, and here's these older guys, Pennies for Beggars, you know, like Dave and, God damn it, Robert.
Joe.
And Joe. Yeah. Hosey. Just chilling in the back. When I first got there, it was just Dave and Robert.
Yeah.
And, you know, I didn't know these bastards. They didn't know me.
And
There's
then
these
Hosey and
old
Benini.
assholes in the fucking green
Chad
room.
actually played for
Just-
Pennies for Beggars at one point.
Word.
The drummer, that's how we met Chad.
Didn't
But yeah, they
Benini
were just drinking beers
too?
openly.
Yeah, Benini was playing
They were just
for
drinking some
Penny's Bears for a
squatters.
minute, I'm sure.
Sorry, what was that?
Benini used to play for Pennies for Beggars too for a little bit.
Yeah, that's how I met him. That's how I originally met him. Was this kid who's not even old enough to play bar shows. He's playing a bunch of old timers, and they're just drinking beers in the back room. And I just like walk in there, like, "Hey, you guys, you can't be doing this." And I just hand him a coffee cup, pour the beer in the
Here you
coffee
go.
cup, and hand it back to him. There you go. Keep your shit safe.
Oh my God! No, you did not.
You remember, dude? That's how we did it. That was the steamer's way of doing
Put it
shit.
Would you
in
like a
something
beer
else.
espresso? Beer espresso.
And yeah,
Espresso. Espresso.
I definitely got some kids in trouble at some of those shows too. Accidentally spilling beer on them when the pits would get a little rowdy, because that was kind of the lineup. A lot of times it just kind of became like you guys, Die Penna Die, Pennies for Beggars, and Spera, like not all in the same lineup, but constant, frequent bands that we would just have all the time. Because, I don't know, it seemed like everybody kind of knew each other, and this is just this place for all these rebellious kids to come and just be as goddamn rebellious as they wanted. So, I guess my question for you, Boris, and you, Jim, is I guess what led up to before I met you guys. You know, I understand there was a band Ivy, and you know, that's kind of how you guys knew Nick. So, I mean, just kind of like what led up to your, I guess, being intertangled with all the whole Steamers and Ironic Ashes mix-up of chaos.
Pretty much. I just ended up meeting Boris. Used to work over at Taco Bell with him right off Center Street, Norm.
Right.
And met him, and then, you know, just kind of, we started talking a little bit, you know, on our smoke breaks and whatnot, and just, next thing I know, he's like, dude, do you know how to scream? And I was like, I don't know. Fucking.
That was the same Taco Bell that Jose met Benini, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure
Jose-
because,
We all
yeah,
worked
Joe used to,
together.
yeah, we
Jose
all
was
worked
the manager
together,
or some
you know,
shit.
and so I ended up meeting all these other people with, you know, knowing Boris or whatever, and then, you know, eventually we just ended up starting the band up and whatever else, you know, recruited some dudes and ended up just making some music.
That's cool. So, just for future reference, folks, if you want to hook up with a band, all you need to do is get a job at that Center Street Taco Bell, which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore. Sorry, guys.
It does. It's just across
They
the
relocated
street.
it. Yeah, they did. It's not that place is a Zaxby's.
Yes, sir.
Zaxby's.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whatever the hell a Zaxby's is. It's Zaxby's.
Where you get real chicken.
So, your point of view, Boris, as to how all that sort of thing led up.
My point of view.
I mean, yeah, you guys obviously
It
all
was
met
really
at the Taco
weird.
Bell, but I also know that you had kind of a previous, I guess, history that led up to all that.
Well, basically, Nick, I started playing guitar, and then about a year later, I called Nick Passy up and said, hey, I want to start a band. And he's like, what? What kind of band? And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to start a band. And so we started Ivy, and we had a bunch of dudes going that, and then Ivy slowly transformed into another band called My Anathema.
Yeah, I remember them too. They didn't last very long,
And
but they were another one of the first bands that ever played at Steamers.
They kind of shifted me out of there, basically.
Yeah.
I wasn't officially kicked out, but I didn't officially leave. It was kind of just Brendan had filled in the spot, and so I was like, I really want to start some kind of heavy, lame screamo band. Because that's what was cool at the time.
A heavy, lame screamo band.
And
here we are today.
Well, at the time, maybe it wasn't lame, but...
No, at the time, that was the thing.
It was the thing.
You guys weren't too terrible
falling.
compared to a lot of the heavy, lame screamo bands.
Thank you.
And that's
our live shows definitely were a lot better.
I take that chocolate chip cookie and eat it with full heart. But yeah, basically, then I met this crazy dude named Bradford up in, up in Taco Bell, like we were talking about.
Be red.
Right. And then I met Jim, and then Jim started coming over to Graph Circle, represent.
Oh, Graph Circle, yeah.
What's that?
Good old days.
The neighborhood, the hood of the Orem hoods.
Oh, shit. And that's another kind of funny thing is, like, even though people want to try and neglect Utah County, Provo, and especially Orem, where there's nothing. There is no bars. There's no venues. There never has been. There never really. I mean, like, we got like the hitching post out there on goddamn Geneva, which I think is now a part of like Vineyard. So we don't even technically have the goddamn hitching post. We got Moe's. You got karaoke at Moe's. You got like. There's been people who have tried to make a venue or a bar or something happen here in Orem, and it gets shut down quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, not to like say like they used. I don't like their music, but I mean, we used to practice very close by them. One of my first bands, and right out of Orem. You know, I can remember the first time I met, Bert McCracken. And it's funny that, like, most of the shit's more out of Orem. Straight out of Orem. Fuck Provo. Fuck Salt Lake. Like a lot of actually shit. Word. Especially down there.
Utah County,
at that time, there was a lot of stuff in Orem, and there still is. A lot of people that I feel like just kind of get neglected. And, of course, they have no other choice but to go somewhere else to get recognized. But anyway,
that's right. Yeah, So, but the irony was that Brendan replacing me as the guitar player in Ivy, which turned into My Anathema. Then later, Brendan moved in with me, and Bradford, the rapper, and that's where Jim and I started our first Yesterday's Dreams beginnings.
Yep.
And there was nobody else involved, and then Jim basically brought everybody else on.
Yeah. I don't really remember how that happened. I
met Kyle Patton, Patty Whack through Brandon, and Jim brought on Scotty Hobbs.
Scotty Hobbs, and then freaking Chad Bowcut. And
so
then, later on we ended up kicking, well, I guess Patty Whack kind of left the band.
They all did.
Yeah.
Well, what was the actual lineup as far as who did what?
So I played guitar.
Right.
Jim was the screaming vocalist. Patty Whack was the singing vocalist. Chad Bowcut was our drummer. And then Scotty Hobbs was our bass player. And then we went through a transition in 2006.
Yeah, I think that.
Benini played for you guys for a little bit.
Benini came and filled in for 2 shows where I had broken my arm.
Yeah. That's what it was.
I fell off a roof.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And we asked him to come play all my guitar parts. So I taught him all my guitar parts. And then Scotty I had barely gotten out of the cast, and Scotty was supposed to play, and he skipped the show, so I ended up playing all the bass parts, and Benini played all the guitar parts at the Muse, where the Muse used to play.
That's always very helpful.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I thought I had done a terrible job, and these kids, and I don't know if they were joking or if they were serious, but they came up after the show and they said that was some ridiculous bass playing they had never heard.
And you're just kind of like, hell yeah, thank you.
I was.
I don't even know how to play bass. And that's always how you get a good bass player in a metal band, is you take a guitarist and make him a bass player, and they're going to kick ass at the bass because they're already good at the guitar. And, yeah, all they got to do is kind of get used to how thick the strings are and how far the strings are away from each other.
Yeah.
And, yeah, anyone who's a decent guitar player is going to be a sick bass player. Anyone who's a good guitar player, well, yeah, they'll pick up the bass and without ever even trying are just going to devastate. That's just the rules of metal.
I could definitely see that being a objective rule.
You should, now that you've kind of acquired these new guitar skills now, pick up an acoustic bass.
Yeah, I got one.
And just see if you could just fuck around with it. I mean, mess around.
Yeah.
Yeah, play some classical acoustic bass.
Classical acoustic.
That's something I've never heard
There you go.
Boris.
Classical acoustic bass.
Or maybe I should just try and jam along with you. I got an acoustic bass. How many people have done that? It's all good, dude. That's probably the worst thing that's ever been said on KWJUDAS, but we'll pardon it.
Yeah, you're fired.
Just this once.
Just this one?
So before we get into the next song, you said that last one kind of had some meaning behind it. You said something about, describing, I guess.
Yeah, it's called The Unloved and the Brokenhearted, and it's basically... We were going through a time where we wanted to do hardcore music, metal music, screamo music, but we had bitter feelings about the straight edge scene because we had been personally victims.
And back then, it was a lot bigger of a deal than it is right now.
You get knocked the fuck out, you get bruised up, broken noses.
I can remember when we would even have Steamers was actually fairly non-violent, but we would still sometimes have the wrong band playing with the wrong band, and we'd get some brawls going on sometimes. A lot of times it wasn't even inside the venue, and I didn't even know about it till after it happened. Most of the time, that's how it kind of be.
Usually it was just right around, the corner down the block.
Yeah, in that parking lot that was just like on the other side of those other two houses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Street from the Provo liquor store.
I can actually remember a show you guys headlined that you didn't have anything to do with the brawl, but the two bands that played before you got in some big shit, and like two kids who always hung out there came back inside of Steamers and like, can we hang out? Because they just got their asses beat, and they weren't even part of the fight. I don't know if you remember that night.
I kind of remember something
I told
about
you guys,
that,
because you weren't even involved with it, and you were all just loading your gear. And when you came back in, I was like, hey, did you guys know about the brawl that just happened? And you're all just like, what? And I was like, dude, these two guys are sitting here waiting for their moms to pick them up because they just got their asses beat right out in the parking lot. How did you guys miss that? And then, I remember you guys were just like, well, that's cool, kind of thing. Like, people are hardcore, yeah. All right, as long as you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. A lot of crazy shit went down at that venue. If that was the craziest, then we would have been, not shut down for what we got shut down for.
The final show was a bit
pretty
wild.
fucking
That was
crazy.
more punk rock than straight edge.
We'll have to talk about that one a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go to another song. We've kind of been BS.
Well, yeah, so basically that last song I just wanted to add was pretty much about us
Fuck the straight
being
edge,
the
man,
conquering force against the straight edge force, that we would still continue doing this music and fight them on their fighting, basically.
And that's noble cause. The whole battle I kind of gave up on personally because I actually used to be a straight edger. I claimed it for maybe a year and a half, but I was, non-violent straight edge. It was just something to kind of, I guess, have support in a way. You know what I mean? Like, church wasn't doing it.
right.
Like everything else.
We've all been there.
Like, I wasn't going to start going to, like, any AAs or NAs or anything like that. And so, yeah, like, it kind of helped to sort of get into the straight edge scene for a little while, for me, personally. But the negative connotation that came from it was just, after a while, you can't really tell anyone you're straight edge anymore.
Yeah.
Because one thing is going to lead to another.
Oh, yeah.
And
the thing these days, straight edge doesn't really stand for what it used to when it first started up, way back in the days of the Vietnam War, back in the 70s and whatnot. So, I mean, I think it's whack. Why not just be yourself and be a good person,
And if your definition of being a good person is not doing drugs, not
being straight edge.
Yeah, so
that's
be
fine.
it, man.
That's totally fine.
To each his own.
I hang out with tons of people.
Exactly.
I'm in bands with like total Mormon people, like they
Right, yeah.
They don't care that I drink, they don't care that I smoke. They know that I do. And what's the difference between them and a straight edger besides that they try and revolve it around God and
exactly.
Well, they try and revolve it around drugs or the lack thereof. And try to not have it be about God.
Yep.
Anyways, enough ranting and raving.
The next song's Confessions of a Broken Mind.
This is track 7, you believe?
Yep.
You said?
It's about suicide.
Okay, what was the name of it?
Confessions of a Broken Mind.
Confessions of a Broken Mind. KWJUDAS.
Welcome back to KWJUDAS 87.9.
87.9 FM.
freeradioprovo.com.
Free radio 0.9.
Hey, Jim, you should have me another beer.
Jim.
You need another beer?
Oh, yeah. We're drinking some of Utah's finest.
Ham.
The hams. You can
The
get
ham.
a 24-pack for like $11. It's awesome.
Nice.
It's the only reason I bought it, folks.
Awesome.
So, we're at the top of the hour.
Top of the hour.
I don't know. We're at the top of whatever hour it is here on KWJUDAS.
Judas
With Boris,
KW.
Forklift Lukowski, and Jim, Pitchfork Horatio Sanchez.
Yes.
Hey, pitchfork or Hey, you goddamn Sanchez! Sorry.
Former members of the infamous
We're
and
missing the
highly
Hobbs,
renowned
the Hobbit,
Yesterday's
the
Dream.
Chatterum,
Yeah.
the Paddywhack,
Minus all those folks.
and then Trevor. So we didn't actually say, though, that we had 2 additional members further on in the transition.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Besides the Hobbit and the...
So the Hobbit, the Paddywhack left.
Well, there was that one time, remember, when good old Matt Johnson tried out for us. And then
Oh, yeah, and then there was also Matt
was like
Johnson
literally,
who
that was like
screamed
Magic
with us.
Johnson?
Yeah, Magic Johnson.
Holy hell.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a whole
Yeah.
lineup, dude. We had the
Damn.
Hobbit, we had Magic
Well, anyways.
Johnson.
That literally probably
we had
lasted
Nick
about an
Nack
hour.
Paddywhack. Have you ever met Nick Nack Paddywhack? He's a fucking stud.
That's
with a
not
big
Nick
penis.
Passy. I definitely...
Nick
Nick Nack
Paddywhack.
Paddywhack's a stud
Throw
with
a
a
dog
big
a bone.
penis. Anyway, so then Hobbit and Paddywhack left, so I took over singing, and we hired a kid named Trevor
Clement.
Clement
Just Clement.
that played bass, and so Trevor filled in, and then we got
He was also a big penis stud.
He's a pretty badass bass player, you know, like
A stallion.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Stallion.
dude.
Wild stallion.
Oh yeah.
And then we hired a kid named Jeff.
Geoff.
Geoff.
Good old Geoff.
Oh. It's time to play Pass the Weasel. Everyone take an item of clothes off.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm taking
Sorry
article
guys,
of clothes
my
off.
Took my hat.
I'm taking off my right shoe.
I don't know why we're playing
I'm
this.
taking
game.
off my left shoe. You got to play past
right
the
shoe's
weasel.
coming off.
Really? What does that even mean?
I got a sticker in my fucking
You'll
boot.
get the hang of it. Just don't touch
Okay,
it.
so anyway, go ahead and finish your story.
Well, so basically, then we'll be listening to the next record here in a moment. It was a demo
Man, that felt real good.
made with Geoff and Trevor,
Yeah.
and they
In my honest opinion, I think Trevor killed it on the bass.
On
Honestly,
the
dude.
second recording,
Yeah.
and that's the not the one we've been listening to, obviously.
No, we're gonna listen to one more just intro here, and then we'll go to the next record, or we'll play some acoustic music.
Oh, what's the name of the next song then? You said it's just track 3.
Yeah, it's gonna be the intro to.
You don't
the
want to listen to track 1? I thought track 1 was kind of cool sounding.
Well, we were gonna put there's one. Track 1 is also in. Track 1 is in the second one. Second demo.
Oh, okay. Well, I really didn't want to listen to that track anyway.
Yeah, that's Country Head.
Country head.
Okay, so what's the name of this one?
This one's called The Dead End, but basically the intro is a poem I wrote after a Rolling Stones show that my dad and I were kicked out of because he was too drunk.
Wow. Your dad
That's
seems
right.
pretty cool.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember asking you.
Well, happy
why you
Father's
wrote this
Day.
song.
Oh, yes, we are recording this. We're not broadcasting this on Father's Day, but happy Father's Day to Boris's
Yes,
dad.
it is.
Happy Father's Day to you. wizard.
Yay.
Yeah,
You caught a
wizard.
goddamn fish, and you're the only one. In fact, a special
Good
FU
Father's
goes
Day
out to
present
all
for
other
sure.
fathers who didn't catch a fish today.
All right. F you to them fathers that didn't.
Hey,
catch fish.
I actually
Hey,
said F
that was a
you.
pretty good,
I did say
that was a
nice
good
sized
censorship.
fish. You
right
know.
there. I never say that.
Fap you.
Fap you,
Fa-
man, the papas. I didn't catch anything, so screw you guys. Anyways, this one goes out to you, Father. KWJUDAS. Free radio. What the hell was that? Provo.
We gotta guess.
Well, that was the introduction to the song that they're about to play acoustically. What was the name of that one again, Boris?
The Dead End.
The Dead End. They're going to play...
Fuck figure number 1 as the acid turns twice. Whoops.
Shut
Oh,
up, you
hey.
stream.
There
Damn
you
it,
go.
we want the real thing. Let's have the real Boris Lukowski and the real Jim
Scat.
Pitchfork
Scat.
Scabadoo.
Scabadoo.
Sorry. You can mess up my name if you want.
I don't even remember. Oh, wait.
Ha! See?
Yes, damn it.
At least I can remember your
So
name.
we're going to do
Right,
the Dead
Glenn.
End.
Glenn.
LeVar.
Rico.
Enrico, actually. You guys, it's time for another Pass the Weasel. I'm taking off my other shoe. I have nothing else to live for.
I'll take off my shirt.
Now Boris is being bold. You kind of actually make me want to take it. Shit.
I
All
gotta
right,
go
Boris,
for the shoe.
Boris is winning so far.
I showed him a little fat.
Okay. So, this is the acoustic version of the song that we just heard the intro to, which was a fine intro, I'd say. Actually, it's very ghostly. It's very spooky.
Spooky.
I felt like I was in the middle of a graveyard not playing Pass the Weasel.
All right, Jim.
Oh, don't run over my phone, by the way. It's there, and it's real. KWJUDAS.
Boris.
This is Jim and Boris. Yesterday's Dream Throwback. Free Radio Provo.
Save the city's burning, darkened skied. Save the fallen angels. Fly away to a better, beautiful, forsaken place. And we just lie still. smiled. Save the.
Fat.
Fat.
Full of fat.
Well,
Fat.
this has been very delightful, Boris, I'd have to say.
Oh, thank you.
It's been
I'm
quite
gonna
a
say first off, I
privilege
fucked
to
that up.
have.
Firsthand, I fucked that up.
Hey, don't say fuck. And don't fuck shit up.
You're on the radio.
Frick!
You just fucked it up, dude. Don't do that.
Whoa. Did you just say?
What?
Did you
I didn't
just
say
say
anything.
you fapped it up?
I said nothing of
Fap.
the sort, Boris.
Fap.
You don't got to be all up in my business, you know.
Fap.
Yeah, I like you guys, okay? Yeah, screw you guys.
Thanks.
No problem.
Fap.
Yeah.
So we got the next CD. Play a song off the next CD.
Where is the next? Oh, here it is.
Fap.
We still do use CDs here, folks, in KWJUDAS land, here in Gumption, Utah.
Fap.
Yeah, fat.
And while the wizard just fapped, why don't you guys tell us a little bit more about how long it's been since you last played?
Fap.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, dear
well, you mean
God.
Jim and I or the band?
Well, actually, yeah. I guess, how long did Yesterday's Dream last?
Fap.
I was
And
about
how
5
long
or 6
has it
years.
been?
No.
No, I was about 5-6
It
years.
was 3
bro.
years.
No,
3 years. It
you're
was
fucking
when
high in the night.
Yeah,
You're
sure
high in the
I am,
night,
sure.
Boris.
Sure I am.
Well, actually, you're high
Boris, you was
any
smoking
time
one too
I've
many
seen
blunts
you,
back
really.
then.
I can tell you exactly all the years.
Boris seemed to actually...
One that I can't remember all the names. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Wow. Now it's starting to get heated.
Fap.
Do you guys want to show who's got the longer nutsack?
Well,
Oh,
he
shit,
is.
here he goes. I guess that means it's... Pass the weasel time.
Time to pass the weasel.
No, not again.
Do it, Boris.
No, Yesterday's Dream lasted from 2005 until almost into 2007.
Huh. That's almost the duration of Steamers. Exceeding
Exactly.
it by just
And
before we
Steamers
started.
was
just
mostly
after
our
we
home
ended.
venue. And after Steamers ended, we got a couple shows at Starry Night, which you helped book.
Yeah. I remember that one. Also with Clifton and
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Stevie
yeah, yeah.
Shores and
And then it was over.
fucking Taste of Monroe, I think. And
Well, no, there was shows that we played out like in
Cohabit.
Salt Lake County, you know, freaking with
Yeah, but it was all within the 3 years.
yeah. Well, No.
You guys did get some pretty big gigs while you were Yesterday's Dream, though. I remember, I mean, not like
Apollo.
huge, but didn't you guys get it open for like Scum of the Earth?
Some of the Earth,
Scum of
yeah.
the
And I heard Yesterday's Dream. I think it was like Jordan Fairbanks told me, like, back when he was, you know, a youngin', just like all you little kids, telling me about
We were
Yesterday's
kids.
Dream. Now, this is something I actually have never asked you about. Did you guys actually get it open for My Chemical Romance? Did you? You guys both just look at each other and laugh. Where did this rumor circulate from?
Maybe it was just the fact that we almost got into
It
Warped
wasn't
Tour.
just him. It was like I heard this from several different people.
No,
and I
we-
can remember this when back in the Steamers days, like, or right after the Steamers days, hearing about, oh my God, Yesterday's Dream is going to be open up for My Chemical Romance and shit. And I'm just like, I mean, fuck My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
And I'm not even taking that
That's
F-bomb
all.
back from KWJUDAS. Because screw those guys. But apparently that never happened. Very elegant.
Yeah, we almost got into Warped Tour one year, but that was the closest that we ever got
and they
to
were on the same
MCR.
bill then, apparently. or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's funny. You both just kind of looked at each other and just laughed.
The funny thing is we lost by like I think 1 or 2 votes on the Warped Tour Battle of the Bands or whatever to go play like one of the stages there or somewhere.
And that's when you fired Paddywhack.
He fired himself.
He fired
I guess
himself.
you could
Yeah,
say.
Is that another question I shouldn't really delve into? Or
No, go ahead. Delve into
Like,
anything. We got what,
there.
20 more minutes for
if
the
you
show?
don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, with Paddywhack, it was
15.
basically with the whole band. It was a deal of I had a vision, and that's part of the reason it was called Yesterday's Dream. And
so you had a dream more than a vision.
that sure.
Otherwise,
And-
you'd have been called Yesterday's Vision.
Well, I brought these people on, right? We brought Jim on, and then I brought Paddywhack on, and we brought Scott and Chad on, and then when we first met for our first band practice, it was like, okay, so what are we gonna play? And I had all these songs written, and so I started playing these songs, and everyone looked at me kind of just dumbfounded, like, what do I do? And
I
I'm
know
like-
how that goes.
and I'm like, well, we got lyrics and we got things we can do, you know.
I remember the first time I met you. I was sitting in my freaking car, freaking smoking a cigarette, listening to like Cradle Filth or something. And that's when you came up to me. He was like, "Oh, bro, who the fuck is this?"
At the Taco Bell.
You mean
Oh,
who
yeah.
the fap
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Who fapped it too? All right, well, we've got about 10, 15, 20.
But yeah, so Paddywhack basically, the thing with Paddywhack is Paddywhack wanted to be a singer, but he didn't know how to sing, and so we all tried to
He ain't no
instruct
Fiona
him.
Apple. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And if you ain't Fiona Apple, I would give him a rat's ass.
You know, I think eventually he felt that he was gonna do other things that would be better.
Yeah, and that's why I don't talk to that guy either. I'm just
Really?
kidding, Paddywhack. You know I love you, even though I don't really know you. If you're listening out there tonight, well, here's to you, man. I'm gonna crack
KWJUDAS.
one to you. Here it goes.
How about we start this next song, too?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
This is to yesterday's dream and tomorrow's foresight.
Yeah.
Hardcore shit.
That was probably the coolest thing I've said all night. Let's just play the fucking song. This is yesterday's dream. A throwback from over a decade ago. Shit, it's almost been 2 decades if you think about it.
Pretty
Almost.
close, yeah. It's been
Pretty
pretty
close.
fucking close to that.
It's been a long time.
2 decades
since the Steamers
Two
days.
decades.
You guys said you ended.
Dude, yeah, bro. It's been close.
It's been like
a
18
decade.
Bro, it's
decades.
been, yeah.
It's been like 7.
It's old.
70,
7.
And still no Szechuan
18
sauce.
decades. No Szechuan. No, there's none. Still none. So, let's do it. Let's do it. What's the name
Let's
of
do
this
it.
song?
The name of this song is A Ballad for the Fallen. It's
What-
with the new members.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
that's the name
yeah,
of the
yeah,
song.
yeah.
Wait, that whole thing is the name of the song?
A Ballad for the Fallen?
About the Fallen for the new members?
No, this is with the new members of Yesterday's
With the new
Dream.
members?
With the new members,
All right,
yeah.
this is a ballad
This
of
was
the
after
Fallen with the new
Scotty
members
and,
of Yesterday's
Patty
Dream. Here by Yesterday's Dream.
Shout out to Kenny Fleming.
Shout out to Kenny Fleming. Here by Yesterday's Dream. By Yesterday's Dream. On KWJUDAS, Free Radio Provo. Thank you all for listening.
Fap.
Are you going to play the fapping song? Oh, yeah. I turned the volume down. That would make sense. KWJUDAS, Yesterday's Dream. Free Radio Provo.
When I died last night, it was the last fall for the chosen one. Love and hate of it.
Fap.
Fap, 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 fap,
Glad to hear that.
We
Fap,
play
fap,
one
fap.
more song for the listeners. So we got.
Well, yeah, it's actually been quite a wild one, guys. I think we do have time
Yeah.
for one last song.
And here it
I
is.
remember this song
Right now.
being fun to play, honestly. What's the name of this one?
Country Head.
Yesterday's dream. We've had a wonderful time. Snowing back.
Shout out.
In her heart, 1,000 cocks fell out. Into a place of evil, right down. What's I? Why would it kill for you? Into a place of evil, right down. What's I? Why would it kill for you?
Happy New Year's, everybody.
As much as I'd love to,
You
we're
should.
down to just a last minute or two. So, what we were kind of just talking about while that song was playing, because this obviously wasn't live except for the acoustic stuff. We would really love to have Yesterday's Dream come back on.
Please.
And we would really love it if you did way more whistling, because we don't even have time to hear your whistling songs. And we don't even have time to talk about a lot of the stories you guys have. And
Next time you're going to show us your mad yodeling skills.
you're whistling and you're yodeling. And what Boris is up to now, what Jim is up to now. So stay tuned, because I think it would be a good idea to keep
So yesterday's dreams to be continued.
to be continued, folks. Then you can find out who wins.
I want to
ultimate
make a
game.
request. Nick Passy and Eric Montgomery and Chase Clough all at the same time.
Well, chasing that.
Oh,
they were in different
yeah.
bands, but I bet.
Yeah,
I could get
and
a
then you
couple of
bring
those guys.
Robert and Dave down here too, and we'll
Yeah.
just all do
Yeah.
a fucking
Yeah.
throwback hour of
Some
all
guys
six.
from Pennies for Beggars and Die Pen to Die and
Be
all the old school
ridiculous.
fuckers. So stay
Own it.
tuned. We're gonna keep doing KWJUDAS
But now we're
throwbacks from
just
bands
a
that
bunch
we
of
all wish
deadbeats.
still were around. Thank you all for joining us. Take it away, fat bearded guy that nobody likes, who has coffee stains all over his shirt and Smarties in his beard.
Yes.
We'd like to thank you all for joining us on another exciting episode of KWJUDAS on Free Radio Provo. We're now tuning you back to our regular free radio programming.
Bap, 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 bap.